cat.
Good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. With me tonight, I am proud and pleased and tickled pink to say, is Amy Harrell, and she is the president of Connecticut Votes for Animals. Amy, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
I'm thrilled we could arrange this at the last minute.
Yeah, it was like really and truly the last minute. It was one of those, the power of Facebook things.
Yes.
And I appreciate your making yourself available and making the trip, and here we are now, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you. So, on that note, please tell us a little bit about Connecticut Votes for Animals. What do you guys do? What are you all about?
Connecticut Votes for Animals is a political and legislative advocacy organization for animals. We're in about our 5th year of existence, and we are focused on Connecticut issues. And so one way you might think of us as is, of course, there are a lot of rescue and adoption organizations in Connecticut doing really heroic work on the ground, rescuing animals and doing really heroic work. What we do is sort of a complement to that in some ways. We're sort of on the other side of that, trying to affect public policy so that ideally some of that rescue work is not as necessary anymore. That's the goal.
That's a rescuer's dream is not to have to just to open up their eyes one day and just not have to stress out about what's going on.
That would be nice. A lot of my friends are rescuers. It's a lot of hard work and it's heartbreaking work.
It is.
So what Connecticut Votes for Animals does is we're networking with people in Connecticut, and we have our finger on the pulse of what's needed here in the state in terms of animal protections. And we sort of translate those needs into legislative proposals. So the Connecticut legislature runs every spring. This year it runs from January and it goes through June 5th. And so there are only a couple weeks left of the legislature, and we work with a lobbyist and we propose legislation. And so far we've been fairly successful.
I know that you guys have done a lot of really good things. Yes, I'm on your email list, and you know I see all your posts, and I'm on your Facebook page and all that. You guys have been responsible for some really cool changes in laws in Connecticut.
Yes. Let's see. Last year we helped pass a law that requires that all animal control officers be trained, new animal control officers. I think there was sort of a perception out there that all new ACOs would have to have some kind of training when they come on the job. That was not the case before last year. So we got that on the books.
That's critical because they're
very
usually
critical.
First line of picking an animal up off a street, or you know their period of incarceration or whatever. It kind of helps if it's not just like Joe Blow off the street with a chip on their shoulder and no clue.
Yeah, no, that's not a good situation.
You know, let's tone it down and tune it up, and training is, no matter who
vital.
You are or what you do.
Yes. So we were proud to have that passed. We also worked last session to establish a mechanism for cross-reporting child abuse and animal cruelty. There are well-documented links. Yes, very well-documented links between those two. So this legislation helps agencies, Department of Children and Families, as well as the Department of Agriculture, to help identify early animal abusers. So those are some of the things we've done. I mean, we've been in existence now for 5 years. If you go on our website, ctvotesforanimals.org, you can look by year and find of the legislation we've passed.
Nice.
Okay,
so primarily tonight, the reason why we're here is for this bill HB 5027, which is to prevent commercially bred animals from being sold in Connecticut.
That's right.
What does that mean?
What that means is the bill, House Bill 5027, as amended, by Representative Brenda Kupchik. She's from Fairfield. Her amendment would prohibit pet shops from selling commercially bred cats and dogs. And by that, what we're really talking about is puppy mill dogs.
Okay, so for those that don't know, let's talk a little bit about what a puppy mill is. I've touched on it here and there, and like this so works because I've wanted to get into the topic. So, but here we go. What's a puppy mill?
A puppy mill, you're probably not going to find it in Webster's dictionary, but it is essentially a large-scale commercial breeder where profits are prioritized over the well-being of the animal.
Okay.
It means that that dogs are bred in absolutely heinous conditions you would not even imagine.
Zach, can we pull those pictures up? Just to punctuate what we're trying to say, we've got a few pictures of how these animals are kept.
Yes. So here's one photo of a husky. Now, mind you, this dog lives in that cage its entire life.
Never goes outside.
It does not go outside.
Doesn't get walked.
It doesn't get walked. It doesn't feel grass. The floor of that cage is metal grates. And this is actually a photo that was taken as part of a USDA inspection report. And this breeder was found in violation because there are rust spots on the panels.
Yeah, because there's no other problem with that situation than the rust.
Precisely. That's the point. The problem with puppy mills and commercial breeders is that there is so much that is actually legal. It is legal to keep an animal in this condition its entire life.
That's just far beyond mind-boggling.
Yeah,
I mean, when you think about, your dogs are on your couch and taking walks and taking rides, and
these dogs never experience that.
Never see sunlight, never get a pet, a treat, a toy. Their food's probably thrown at them. Probably have dirty water. Who cares? Whatever happens, happens. And not for nothing, but I'm going to throw it out there. It's not like the females want the males. They're essentially raped. Okay.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter that they don't intervene. The females are just like, the male will get them.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Zach, can we get the next picture?
Okay, this one is another USDA violation. Again, it was not the situation the dog was in, but rather there was fecal matter hanging from the floor of the wire cages there. Because see, what happens is, that's the reason they have them stand on these wire floor cages.
Sure, so nobody has to clean up after them.
They don't have to, they don't need to poop scoop. So they just let the droppings fall below and accumulate in filth.
Yeah, exactly.
So the citation here the violation from the USDA was that there was excess waste hanging from the cage.
Now, I have read about the situations where basically en masse they use like power washers while the dogs are in the crates to clean the mess that's in there, and perhaps their little power washer wasn't working right that day. I've read about
Perhaps
dogs
not.
that have like their eyes blown out by the power washers. Like seriously, how do you do that?
It's one more list of the horribles that goes on here. And as people see these photos, it's important to remember every single pet store in Connecticut sources animals from a puppy mill like this.
Yeah, so that cute little puppy in the window, how much is that doggy in the window? You're
supporting this.
You're supporting an animal who's living its entire life like this.
Right.
And when one breeder gets tired of this animal, they send them to auction, where they're just, if they're not rescued by some grace of God, they are gone off to another horrible breeding situation. And it's not like they ever get retired because they're too old. They are just pushed, and every heat cycle. And
many are not even lucky enough to potentially be auctioned off to some kind soul. Many of them are just simply killed.
Yeah, and not
shot.
in a very, in a humane way.
Yeah.
I've read of, them being found left for dead and
Right.
all of that. So
Right.
it's not even like it's a loving goodbye.
Right.
Next picture, Zach.
Okay, so this one I thought was pretty illustrative of the problem too, because the violation here was no rust found on the cage, no fecal matter on the floor, but rather this dog simply doesn't have enough headroom.
Okay, it
That
can
was the
barely
violation.
turn around.
That's right.
It's living in that looks disgusting.
A cage. The cage only needs to be 6 inches larger than the dog on all sides. That's the minimum standard, 6 inches. So what you can think of is a beagle living in a dishwasher.
Wow. That's a lot
legal.
to think about.
That's legal.
And this is what the government is basically saying is perfectly fine.
That's right.
And
These standards are outlined under the Animal Welfare Act. It's a federal law, and that is what the USDA enforces when it visits commercial breeding facilities like this.
and I can't imagine someone would be able to sleep with themselves at night saying, oh yeah, okay, I inspected and this is perfectly acceptable. I mean, I can't think of an animal that I would confine like that on a wire floor. Again, I've read about the deformities in the feet and the body just from living on that. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, there are a lot of injuries. Yes, yes. I've seen videos of dogs that are able to walk on grass for the first time in their lives, and you can see the confusion.
Yeah. I can just imagine. They have no idea that there's a whole big world out there.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking. It's beyond heartbreaking to think that someone's saying this is okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's time for Connecticut to say it's not okay.
Yeah.
And that it's not okay for Connecticut's 18 pet stores to do business with these breeders. It's just not okay.
Yeah, and Zach, we'll take the camera back. They put on the cages, I mean, they're not in much better, the puppies in the stores are not in much better shape than their parents, but they're presented as being all cute and, sweet, but they're on wires too.
Yes.
They have the tags up on there, from, say, I don't know, Tennessee or whatever.
Right.
They may give a name or not, or a kennel name, but it's all supporting these puppy mills. There's just no, and they'll tell you no, but that's because it's all about the buck.
It's about profit. There are so many stories of sick animals being bought from pet stores.
Absolutely.
And it was amazing because on my way in here, I was in a store and was talking with someone. I had one of my flyers with me, and she said, "Oh, I love puppies." We were actually talking about another piece of legislation we're doing against dog chaining, and what she said was, "Oh, I have 3 puppies. They're so spoiled." And she told me about the 2 Chihuahuas she got at a pet store. And she got them home, and they were so sick.
Yeah.
She ended up spending $2,000 on these new puppies. She went back to the store. The store gave her dog food as a consolation prize.
Yeah, that's great.
This is very typical. There are laws now, though, where...
Isn't there like a lemon law kind of thing?
There is a puppy lemon law, yes.
But who wants to give up a dog you've become attached to?
Well, you don't necessarily have to give up the dog. If you get a dog from a pet store and it's found to have congenital defects or some other illness, you can be reimbursed by the pet store up to $500 in veterinary expenses, and you don't have to give back the animal.
Well, I mean, so even for what you could possibly be facing, that's just a token.
That's just a token,
and never mind the heartbreak of having, the sick animal.
Yes.
Yes. It's just, to me, it's mind-boggling. I just, everybody has a lesson to learn. Back in 1978, and yes, I'm old, my first experience with, well, my second, it's a long, involved story. But anyway, the dog I had when I was at that age came from a pet store, and who knew?
Yeah.
But it's been going on for time out of mind. And, you know, sure enough, I'm very sure that my little Kimba, who was a Shih Tzu, came from a puppy mill, and he had kennel cough. That I remember vividly, sitting up with him at night and the whole bit. But I was fortunate because he was healthy, and he lived to 17 and a half. Yeah. So, you know, it's not what happens to everybody. I mean, I know of people, you know, one of the things in rescue, you see like these dogs, their feet kind of splay. It's like the inbreeding from the puppy mills. You just know it. You know, looking at that dog, oh, well, you know, that was great breeding. Yeah.
So this bill hopefully will stop the flow of puppy mill dogs into Connecticut pet stores. And what the bill would do then is allow pet stores to source their animals from nonprofit organizations, 501c3 nonprofits, or municipal or regional pound facilities.
So that just shifts it right down to
it does.
Kind of like don't shop, adopt.
That's right. Don't shop, adopt, exactly. And the bill allows for many different ways that that pet stores can partner with rescues. They don't have to just continue their same business model of selling dogs, only now they're selling municipal pound dogs.
Right.
They can make deals. They can allow adoption agencies to come in and use the space, and then the pet
some stores do that already.
They do, and you know, the stores that do that base their business model on principles of adoption and rescue are popular because those are principles that people believe in and want to support financially.
Exactly.
They feel good shopping there.
Right. So. And you know, I've been involved in rescues that do that, and I know people who do go to these places and have the adoptables and have like an open casting call for, you know, if you've got an adoptable, bring it down, and you know, it's so much better.
Yeah.
Now, one point I presumed, you know, people are kind of like, well, you know, I'm not like really politically motivated, and I'm not, you know, like I always say I'm apolitical myself, but you don't have to be affiliated with a party. You don't have to be registered to vote. You don't have to be politically inclined. You have to have a phone, a computer, write a letter, something like that.
That's right.
That's really all you need to do to help support shutting down the sourcing from puppy mills in Connecticut,
right,
and any of the other things that you guys have going on.
That's right.
So really, what can people do to get on board? How would you invite people to get involved in trying to help get this passed?
What they can do near term, as in very soon,
like
within the next few days,
yeah,
very soon, is to contact your state representative and your state senator and ask them to support this legislation. You'll simply ask them to please support House Bill 5027 as amended by Representative Kupchik. That's the important part. Now, if you want to find out who your state senator and representatives are, you can go to the Connecticut General Assembly website, and that is cga.ct.gov.
One more time is
cga.ct.gov.
Okay, and that will list it out.
Yeah, you can kind of poke around there. If you go to the left side of the page and just click on either House or Senate, you'll find a link that says "Find your legislators," and you just click
she knows
there.
her stuff. I'd be like, I don't know where I'm looking. Yeah. And that's you know, that shouldn't stop you just because you're not on familiar territory.
Right.
For doing the right thing and checking it out and figuring it out, because I wouldn't know who. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Well, and that's one of the goals of CVA actually is to try to bring more animal advocates into the fold of political advocacy, because we realize that not everyone is political. I mean, I'm a trained musician and I have a day job as a librarian. Wow. Politics is a pretty big stretch for me too, you know.
Yeah.
but I'm learning a lot as I go along,
Well,
and it's very
you're getting stuff done.
We're getting stuff done, and it's a lot of fun, I have to say. But I do think that there's a misconception among people that if they call their legislators, they have to be experts on an issue, or they have to, they have to know all the ins and outs. Absolutely, just be polite. Be polite. You know, just thank them for their work. Ask them for what you would like, and for future needs, what you can do is go to Connecticut Votes for Animals website at ctvotesforanimals.org.
One more time.
One more time. ctvotesforanimals.org.
She's a fast study.
And
I like her.
And so what you'll do there is on the left side, there's a link that says Join Us. If you click Join Us and put in your information, you'll be on our mailing list, like Theo is here. And what you'll get are emails that outline these things for you. So you don't have to be an expert on what bills are up this session. You don't have to know when to act or who to act. We try to make it easy for you.
You do. I mean, I save all your emails and I put them in like one of those little email folders. You know, and I've shared some of your stuff like on my Facebook page because power of Facebook and all that.
Right.
You know that you need people to contact or whatever you're working. I've done that because the more people you bring into the fold, like you say.
That's right.
You got to spread the word. You got to get people involved.
The more voices who speak up on these bills, the more likely a lawmaker is to take action, and it actually takes far fewer phone calls or emails than you would think. Yeah. The magic number that I've heard many legislators say is it's as few as 5 phone calls from their constituents. That's it.
That's mind-boggling because you kind of tend to think of some of these petitions that get spread around with they're looking for 3,000 signatures, and you get daunted by that when you think about making a phone call or writing a letter for something local because you think if I'm just one person and there needs to be so many. 5?
Yeah. It's not that many. It
5?
Really isn't, particularly at the state level. Now, all politics are local, as they say.
Right.
At the state level, it really doesn't take that much. But the thing is, you have to call or you have to
someone's
email.
got to do it. You can't wait for somebody else to do it.
That's right. Don't put it off because it only takes 5 minutes to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should be doing like one of those. Oh, never mind.
Oh, like the marathon?
Yeah, it's a call marathon.
Like Jerry Lewis or something.
Yeah, that's it.
Please
Thank you.
call
Yeah.
now. But it's true. Like it doesn't take much.
Right. It doesn't.
Like if my way of trying to help is like sharing the status on Facebook, whatever, and 5 people like it and 3 people do it, but you share it and then 3 more people do it, and it's that easy.
It is.
And you guys actually have like little get-togethers and open houses and stuff from time to time, so that
we do. Yeah, we do. We do a number of different things throughout the year. During the session, when the legislature is in session, is our busiest time. So we haven't had a lot of things, but we do have receptions. We have an annual reception at the Legislative Office building every year.
That was the most recent thing I think that you did, that I remember
Typically
getting.
in March we have that. It's a good opportunity to just come up to the Capitol and get a feel for the environment there.
Right, and maybe meet some people that you'll be calling later.
Oh, definitely. It's a very
networking.
Yes, legislators come to that event.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we also have other events that that try to introduce people to the political process. So, for instance, in April we had Humane Lobby Day that was put on in cooperation with Humane Society of the United States and the ASPCA. And we got a really good showing for that. People came to the Capitol and they were sort of given guidance about talking to their own legislators. So they were set up to speak with their own senators or representatives.
That
and
makes
that can
it
be
really easy.
Yeah, it is easy. So there are ways to sort of get into this process.
Yeah, and if you're somebody who would really like to do more than just make a phone call once in a while or write a letter, those are the perfect way to introduce yourself and say, hey, look, I really want to get involved. But then again, that leads me to, we're sort of winding down. again, let's go through your contact information so that if someone does want to contact you, get on board, get on the bandwagon, and do whatever they can to help you with phone calls and whatever else it is that, you know, that needs to get done, writing letters, etc. Let's make it easy for them. Let's go with your email address.
It's actually the easiest way. The easiest way to do it is just to go to ctvotesforanimals.org, our website, and click Join Us from the left side of the page, and just fill in that information about yourself. That will put you on our email list, and you'll receive pretty much everything you need to know through emails that way. There's also a link on that website to contact us. So if you use that contact us link, that will email me. Yes. We also have a Facebook page.
Yay!
So,
we know how I feel about Facebook.
It's facebook.com/CTVotesForAnimals.
Right. Or you can just put like in the little search bar.
Oh, yeah, you could just search for us. We'll come up. Yes.
And so I did share your website and your Facebook page on my Pound Posse Presents page.
Good.
So if anybody missed any of that or is too lazy and just wants to be able to click on it, it's right there. But you know, we can't start this relationship with being lazy, because there's a lot of work to be done, and you know, just look it up and suck it up and get it done. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, we are kind of winding down, and I just want to thank you very much for coming on. This is great.
Exciting.
I told you it would go by quickly, didn't I?
It did very much. Yes. There's a lot to say.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe really quickly, if we've got a second, what other things are you guys working on? Just very briefly until our credits come up.
Well, I think we're looking to basically expand a little bit beyond just legislative advocacy, but perhaps becoming a sort of central point for collaborating with law enforcement officials and sort of getting into the judiciary system.
Okay.
The other thing we're looking to do is develop our educational programs, not only education about animal issues, but also being better political advocates. So I guess we're looking to expand a little bit.
Okay, so people just need to reach out and do what they got to do and look you up. We've got our credits, and I didn't tell you this beforehand, but there's a certain way we say goodnight on the show. So do like I do. We're going to say peace.
Peace.
We're going to make a heart and say love.
Oh gosh, maybe I'm not a quick study. Okay, love, yeah.
And then dogs.
Dogs.
Peace, love, and dogs. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Thank you again. You're a fabulous guest. You can come back anytime.
All right.